on YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be having a detailed look at this Hope Evo Crankset. No spider on this one, 63, 73, 170 millimeters in black. So this is the Hope's forged and machine chain set. To me, this is probably one of the best, well, handsomest chain sets out there. It's also very nice as it's not made in the Far East. Not that there's anything against Far Eastern ones. Some of the SRAM ones at similar prices are a touch lighter, but there's some drawbacks on those, like the plastic pretension sections and stuff like that. So I thought I'd keep it British and buy the Hope chain set. So let's have a look inside. Inside you get some instructions. Place them to the side. Obviously this is where the spider would go if you had the 4-bolt version, but spiderless I got. Actually got a chain ring here, I'll show you in a tick. Let's pull this out. So yeah, first crank arm there, pop that to the side. We'll lift this bit up. Tell you what, I know it's probably added costs and harder to recycle, but this black and green on this box, 100% winning there. Here's the other side of the chain set. So axle pre-bolted on, and you can see this super solid aluminium pre-tensioner there. And comes with its own specific tool to put the chainring spider on. Let's just remove this. Some pedal washers, and everybody's favourite, a nice Hope sticker. So just put the sticker back in the box before it gets lost. I'll pop it something like that. So let's pop this stuff away. So, box done. Let's have a quick look at the chainring. Chainring comes in a little slippy thing like this. So I went for the spiderless retainer ring in a tasteful silver. I actually quite like silver chain rings because they always look the same. Okay, they pick up a bit of oil from the chain itself, but you don't get this sort of, if you have a black or coloured chain ring, you always get silver sections on it where the chain is all the way the anodizing, whereas this will always stay silver looking. So I like silver chain rings for that reason. Okay, where should we start first? Let's pull this off and have a detailed look at the non-drive side. With these chain sets, you can remove the whole axle from them. So if you change from, I don't know, a downhill bike with a wider, or a fat bike with a wider axle standard, you can buy replacement axles in whichever size you choose. So you can actually yank the axle away from the chain set. It's not bonded on. Yeah, this is aluminium, 30 millimeters in diameter. We have, this is the best bit I think personally, and this is one upgrade I would recommend because every SRAM chain set I've had it's failed. This is the bearing tensioner. So you bolt your cranks through, tighten everything up, and you preload the bearings with this. You just wind it on a little bit, which moves this out towards the frame and pulls it all snug. So, but these on SRAMs are made from injection molded plastic, which is perfectly decent way of doing it, but the bolt threads into the plastic. So after you torque it up 2 or 3 times, after making adjustments or having the cranks in and out, inevitably the plastic thread in here fails, meaning you lose your pre-tension and you need to buy another one. So you can buy replacement aftermarket ones in aluminium, which I recommend you do. I think Wolf 2 make them, but have a look online. Don't get the plastic one again because it's junk basically. Whereas the Hope system, solid aluminium, so should be good from the start. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to unwind this, and you should see how it threads on. So you can see it threads on there. So this is a little preload collar. It's on there. It's all nice and greasy already, so don't even have to worry about that side of things. I'll just wind it on all the way. And that feels super nice. Let's fly around this crank then, shall we? As you can see, it's got the typical ball nose cutter Hope look to it, with the machining patterns. I mean, effectively this is like a really aesthetic choice. They could get rid of these marks, but I think it's become synonymous with the brand these days. we have the areas where it's likely to get wear. It's from heel or ankle drag has been laser etched away, which I think is good, so should keep the cranks looking good. Even this is going to wear silver, but you know, it's laser etched, sort of whitey silver as it is. Should always look good. The Hope logo here is in a slight I-beam recess. You can see that there, so that Hope logo will always stay good. You can get these in the multitude of 7 Hope colours, but I've gone for the black to be like, you know, classical, goes with every bike. And these are made from a forging. I originally believe these actually start in Italy, are forged in Italy, imported to the UK. And correct me if I'm wrong, anybody at Hope, or if something's changed. I remember watching a video on it years ago. But yeah, so they're roughly I-beam in section, and just really nice actually. I've gone for the 170mm length, it might say it there, 170, 10804, not sure what that refers to. Might be something to do with machining, but yeah, obviously there's no excess material on the end here either, so some chain sets, they do the same length and they just mark off where the thread goes, so you end up with, like, if you went for a 170 crank or 165 and you had a crank which, you know, might bulge out to here with dead material effectively, so they machine it off, make sure you got no added weight. Feels pretty light in hand, obviously 30mm diameter. It's going to be significantly stiff. Yeah. This section through here feels extremely thin. It tapers quite a lot, but like if I put my fingers through here and pinch, that almost feels like my fingers are pinching together. It must be just a couple of millimeters through that center section, I would have thought, between there and there. So yeah, a very strong machined away I-beam structure. Let's look at the drive side. So on this side we have the spider for the ring. Oh, it's a bit greasy here. You know what? It comes with a tool. Let's have a look how this fits. Oh yes, fits real nicely together. So it's not the usual SRAM deal of 3 torques. 60 Newton meters. That's really high. That's 50% more torque than you would use on a cassette, so that's a big torque you got to use on this. There's a little washer here. Yeah, so this must go. Let's not get everything greasy. Do we have a point? I'm assuming that pit there must align with a crank arm usually. Doesn't matter too much on this one because it's a round one. Should be no issue. Let's put that greasy washer back on there. And let's get this engaged and not cross-thread it on camera. It's always hard to do when you're on camera. There we go. So I'm looking through the camera lens rather than at what I'm doing with my actual eyes. Let's do this up by hand. That's a good fit on there. That's a nice tool they've provided. So that looks like I could get a bottom bracket tool on there maybe to tighten that up. If not, you can get that in a vise and like that, but I won't do it on video because 60 Newton meters, that's a significant amount. But what I will do, I will fetch my BB tool and see if that fits around. I'm assuming it's the big BB tools, the 49mm ones. I'll try that in a tick, but let's get this done first. So yeah, that looks expensive and pretty tasty to me. Chainring itself, as you can see, it's a boost one. It's quite well machined away again. It's got this ball nose cutter version going on. It says boost, hope boost, so that's a sort of repeating pattern. It's pocketed out in areas. Gorgeous anodizing. Yeah, so I've gone for a 32 if anybody's curious. And this one's designed to work with the 12 up to 12 speed chains that's on the market at the moment. That is gorgeous, I think. What do you reckon? Out of 10, what would you give that? Personally, I think this is a more attractive proposition than some of the similarly priced carbon cranks, but just for durability reasons and yeah, made in UK as well. Nice perk. Yeah, very nice. So that's got to live in there. Ooh. Get this spline's aligned. not too bad. So this has been greatly simplified. The original version of these, the non-Evo ones, had a quite complex arrangement on here. It's structurally very sound reasoning how they did it. There's like an expanding cone wedge in here, but obviously that's a bit complex for the average Joe, and it required a lot of tools that Hope had to supply, so they simplified it down, and I think this is all fine. Machining on here looks pretty decent. Looks like there's a tiny bit of tool chatter there, but on this sort of spline it won't matter too much, I don't think. And you can see there's some sort of light wasting away through the center section there, so it should be easy to slide through the frame away from the bearing sections. Right, I've got this all assembled. Let's weigh it and see how much it weighs. So drive side plus 32 chainring, round chainring, weighs in at 308 grams, and non-drive side and axle weigh in at 625. That's pretty competitive if I remember right. I think maybe you were into the 500s if you go carbon, mid 500s for mountain bike. Road bikes, I think you're into something similar, like a Force or Red, you're probably low 500 grams, but this is designed for up to downhill use, so you're never gonna worry about strength on this. This is a buy and forget item, I think, in my mind. You buy it once, then it's probably gonna outlast your frame. There's a good chance that's gonna happen, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this lasts a decent amount of time. Let's get it fitted to the bike, and oh no, we need to double check on that first, don't we? And we also should double check the instructions and see if there's any funny bits going on in here. So cautions, blah 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 blah, make sure crank arms wide, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so that looks like a bottom bracket type tool. Insert. 60 Newton meters is really high though. That's my only caution on that. 60 Newton meters is a big torque for a bicycle. Yeah, that's quite a lot. Yeah. So if I flip around to the other side, like the instructions are super clear. These are real nice CAD images they've produced. This is the kind of thing I do at work. Well, not quite like instructions like this, but generate designs like this, so if you're ever curious. Yeah, 50 Newton meters there as well. That's not a problem. You can get a torque wrench on that. This, on the other hand, not quite sure how to get that torque onto the spider. That'll be an experiment I'll do when I fit it. There you go, there's the preload. Make sure there's no gap. Everything else looks pretty decent. 8.8 Newton meters there, disassembly. And oh look, here's an interesting bit. Should you use a pedal washer or not? Please follow manufacturer's pedal instructions. Pedal washers are provided to avoid damaging the crank arm. Some axle designs have integrated washers. If this is the case, washers are not required. When using pedal washers, take care to center the washer in the counterbore. Not doing this could damage the crank arm. So what they're saying is, and I've seen this, the pedal washers, no, they're over here. Just grab a pedal washer. Come here, you. And I think looking at this design, it'd be hard to get wrong. Typical. Let me grab that. It'd be hard to get wrong on this design because they fit quite nicely in there. But what they want to make sure you're not squashing the pedal washer in some way, offset or something along those lines. Yeah, that's enough for me waffling. But there's a little counter bore here. Should stop that from happening, so that sits in there pretty nicely. It'd be hard to get that wrong. But there we go. These are like a self-extracting design as well, it looks like. So should be no need to remove the bolt under there. So that's a bolt in there under a cap. So you wind it in and wind it off, and it self-extracts, so no other need for tools. Pop those, I don't know, let's get rid of this. Pop those like that, and place that back in here. I'm going to go find a tool for this. I'll be back with you in a tick. So back to this chainring tool here. This has been downsplayed in my toolbox, so I thought it would be the 49mm, you know, threaded bottom bracket, big boy for the 30mm axles. It's not that tight. So I rummaged around and dug out my very old X tools. See how dirty this is, it's disgusting, but it's been to the Alps a bunch in its life. This is the normal Shimano standard one for Hope tools. Really old standard from mid 2000s. Fits, oh come on, there you go. Fits on it a dream. Which is good and bad, because I've got no way of now knowing how to get to that 60 of torque. So what I think I might end up doing is, what was I going to do? This square, or either get a socket on it, a big socket, and a 1/4 inch drive, and click it that way. Or what I might just do is I pop this in my vise, pop that on top, and it mates in, and just in the vise, I'm putting all my torque against the vise, and 60 Newton meters is so high, like I'm just going to put all my weight into it, and that'll probably be about right, because 60 Newton meters is a lot. So yeah, that's that detail on that. What I'll do is I'll keep this video as a Hope only video, and I'll install this. This is going on my Project Beefy, so I'll I'll link a video to the install video up there, and probably cut in some pictures now of it installed, so those of you interested in this alone can watch this alone, and those who are interested in watching an install video can see up there. It's going to be in a regular threaded BB, so could be of some use to some of you. It's pretty simple anyhow. But there we go, the Hope Evo chain set. Sexy as in my opinion, and yeah, not too bad a buy. All in all, maybe just under £300. Yeah, I think it's about 280 all in all, or 265 I paid. Yeah, 230 for the chain set, or 235, and maybe £40 for the chainring. It's not cheapest by any stretch, but made in the UK, and should keep looking good for a long time, hopefully. There we have it. Thanks for watching today. Watch a video up here if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.